Anyway, so Maureen Muldoon, that little rascal, she always wants us to have, good morning. She wants us always to go outside of our box a little bit, so that's what I've done today. I didn't know the word pluralism before 2 hours ago. And I got up and I should go back to college. I just love it. I love studying, I love everything about this. So I'm going to speak for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to introduce our guest speaker. Okay, so what is interfaith pluralism? The plurality of religious tradition and cultures has come to characterize every part of the world today. But what is pluralism? First, pluralism is not diversity alone, but the energetic engagement with diversity. Diversity can and has meant the creation of religious ghettos between different religions or among them. Second, pluralism is not just tolerance, but the act of seeking or understanding across lines of difference. Tolerance is a necessary public virtue, but it does not require Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Jews, and ardent secularists to know anything about the other. Pluralism does not require us to leave our identities and our commitments behind, for pluralism is the encounter of commitments. It means holding our deepest differences, even our religious differences, not in isolation, but in relationship to one another. Pluralism is based on dialogue. Dialogue means both speaking and listening, and that process reveals common understandings and real differences. Dialogue does not mean everyone at the table will agree with one another. Pluralism involves the commitment to being at the table with one's commitments. Robert Nash reminds us that we are not only a member of a particular community of belongings, but also citizens of the world. He says to be kind, even hospitable to religious strangers, so that we might learn from them. The other day I sat next to a gentleman on a flight from India who works for the World Bank in Washington. He was so friendly and he wanted to know who I was. We spoke for our short flight about where in India I might want to visit, and his enthusiasm was infectious. First, he said I would be shocked regarding the deplorable conditions, smell, and how many people live in such close proximity to others. But that if I could go deeper and look at the people, I might be in awe of the resolve to be happy, even in conditions that we find deplorable. I told him about my father's illness and the frustration that no one can figure out what his violent shaking of his legs is being caused by. He asked if I had ever checked out Tibetan medicine. I looked at him and blurted out, "Of course not." We only look at our own medicines and doctors and pills. We then spoke about differences in how we might look at each other's healing ways. He gave me his phone number and he said to call him if I wanted to talk further. Dr. Askar, what you might find, what I'm about to tell you, is too much of a synchronicity. Dr. Eboo Patel, in his book Acts of Faith, suggests the 21st century will be shaped by the questions of our faith lines. He goes on to defend a form of religious pluralism that affirms the identity of the constituent communities while emphasizing that the well-being of each and all depends on the health of the whole. He goes on to say that religions have powerful things in common, but they come to those shared values through our own paths. Studying other religions should first and foremost have the effect of strengthening our understanding of our own. Dr. Eboo Patel was one of my son Stephen's best friends. Growing up in Glen Ellen, and he used to have sleepovers at my house. What is called for is neutrality, not solidarity. At 9:13 this morning, I was on my way out the door and I had a nagging feeling to go back and type some more. As most of you know, I am a Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ came to the world and died for our sins. I believe that when I profess my belief in that very statement, that I became saved and will enter heaven and be with the people that have gone before me. I was brought up Catholic, and my parents expected us to attend not only Mass, but CCD. What they didn't do was to deny us that there were other religions in the world. I was allowed to attend friends' churches and have been to many weddings and events in other churches. I do not consider myself a recovering Catholic, and I do not believe in all of the man-made doctrine of the Catholic Church. or even any organized religion. And I've been seeking a deeper connection with other people's ideas. Even in this very place, I've been met with sighs and rolling eyes when I mention that I am a Christian, but it's okay, as I'm here to learn. Even as an adult, I have come across Baptists that were taught as children to stay away from Catholics. I must have not been listening because as a child, my relationship with Jesus and God were going on in my head, accepting that I was their child. And I always considered them to be pure love and accepting. I also consider A Course in Miracles to be the very best book study I have ever seen. Yeah, it's a book study to me because at the core, I will always be a Christian. That doesn't mean anything other than I'm a student of the world and I am enjoying learning about different paths that lead directly to God. Fear, isolation, ignorance, and lack of diversity will always keep us apart. I believe that everyone has something valid and important to say, and I believe everyone should be heard. Pluralism is not only getting in and digging in other people's faith and traditions. Sometimes teachers are right next to you. I'm almost done. Today we are honored to have an amazing guest speaker, Dr. Mohammed Asghar. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
I believe your country of origin is Egypt. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. He is currently on staff at Dominican University, where he has an open door policy as he enjoys engaging students in discussion and debates in and out of the classroom. Professor Asghar believes that educators are the mind shapers for the next generation. He strives to unleash his students' highest potential. Sounds like anyone else we know? No, me. Having won many awards, we hope his great works will continue. He considers himself a Chicagoan, having lived in this great city for over 12 years. He enjoys biking on the lakefront for about probably 20 days per year, because of the weather we get. He loves activities at Grand Park and is a fan of the Bulls. Sorry. And the Bears. Notice how he is not committed to one baseball team. Here is a hint of the direction you might want to consider.
Thank you. I should have warned.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Mohammed Asghar.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want more tips and tools on how to be a spiritual vixen, go on over to my website, MaureenMuldoon.com, and you can sign up for my love notes. Until then, I'm Maureen Muldoon, the spiritual vixen, reminding you to love more, fear less, and don't forget to laugh.